Hello everyone, welcome to today's Python session, and we are going to talk about while loops today. So far we have had 3 easy sessions on Python. We have seen how to install Python and Jupyter notebooks on our machines. We have then seen basic operators, numbers, etc. to work with. And then we moved on to, that is the last session that we did was strings. So we saw how strings are stored, how we operate on strings, etc, etc. Now today we are going to talk about while loops. So how do you like doing a repetitive task again and again and again? Let's say your mom asks you to clean your room thrice a day. Morning clean your room, afternoon clean your room, evening clean your room. If you do that repetitive process thrice a day, you'll get pretty bored and irritated with it, right? Kinda same with the programs that we write. You don't have to write one simple program structure, a few lines of code again and again and again to do the same thing. What you can instead do is write those lines of code inside a loop. That's what a loop does. It repeats those lines of code for you as many times as you want, depending on the conditions that you tell the compiler or the interpreter to. So if you say run these 10 lines of code 20 times, it will repeat those 10 lines of code execution 20 times. You don't have to repeatedly keep writing it, right? That's the basic funda why we use loops, or why we have loops in our programs. Nobody wants writing the same lines of code again and again and again. You want something to be run 20 times, you write a loop that runs it 20 times. You want something to be run 100 times, you write a loop to run it 100 times. Now, among these loops, every language has different categories. Python, we have for loop, while loop, and today we are going to specifically focus on while loop. Now, how we are going to do that? We are going to write 2 very straightforward, simple problems using the while loops in Python. Okay, so let me just quickly switch the screen, take you to the Jupyter notebook, and start on with the first simple program at hand. Okay, and you guys can definitely give me inputs in the middle of the program writing if at all I go wrong, or if you want me to write the program a bit differently. We'll keep a tab on the chat. So speaking of the chat, I have Musaddiq, Abhinav, Swarya, Anand, Nishant, Satish, Dilip, Arvind. Alright, and the last one is motivation is my aim. Alright, hello everyone, very good evening, and let's quickly jump on to our Jupyter notebooks without wasting any time. So we have this folder. Let's create a new notebook, Python 3. Alright, let's rename it to while loop. Cool. So what we are going to do, the first program that we are going to write is, let's say we have a number series 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Alright, so till 10 I want to find the sum of numbers from 1 till 10. Okay, hi Sheikh, hi Mohammed Farhan, hi Krishna, hi Ram, good evening everyone. So this is the first problem that we are discussing, and we are going to use while loop to write the solution to the problem. Okay, so very simple. Let's say the user inputs, I want to find the sum of numbers till 10. So all you have to do is keep repeating the addition of each number to the previous sum. So 1 plus 2 gives you 3, then again 3 plus 3 gives you 6, 6 plus 4 gives you 10, 10 plus 5 gives you 15, right? Similarly continue. So let's say if the user inputs 5, output should come out to be 15, correct? If the user inputs 3, output should come out to be 6. Now all that this loop is going to do is simply keep on adding the next number to the previous sum. All right, and continue doing it till you reach the last number that the user has input. So this number we are going to take as input from the user, and we are going to calculate the sum till the number. Alright, so let me jump back to the Jupyter notebook and start off with the program. Krishna has asked that the Python has only 2 loops for and while. Yep, Python has only 2 loops for and while. We'll discuss while today. In the next session, we'll take a look at for loop along. I'll also try to add in conditional statements in the next session along with this. Cool. So let's start. First, what we need is, as you can see in this, the first thing we need is this input number till where you want to calculate the sum. Correct? Now, input taking from the user in Python is fairly simple. For the purpose of writing the program, you can simply say your number is equals to so and so. But let me show you how to take input from user. So let's say we need number. Now, input when you take from the user, it is simply taken as input. Enter the number. Alright, all you have to do is use this function input, and whatever syntax you want, you give it inside. Enter the number. Now you want some place where you store the number that would be entered by the user, right? So let's store it in now. Now remember, whenever you take an input from user, it would be taken as a string, but you need a number. So you have to convert this string into an integer. How do you do that? Simply wrap it around the integer function. So write the input line inside your integer function. Fairly simple. Alright. Just go ahead, execute the line. So you get this box, enter the number. Let's say 5. Okay. Now if you print num, you will see we have stored 5 in the number. Cool. So first step is done. We have taken the number till which we have to find the sum. Now let's initialize a variable sum to 0. As of now our sum is 0, and let's also take a variable I that will start our iteration from the first number. So we have to start from 1, keep on adding to the sum till we reach 5. Alright, execute these lines. Done. And now we are onto the while loop. So before I write it, let me show you the syntax. So the simple syntax for while loop is, pardon my handwriting today. So while we have the condition here followed by colon. Okay. Now inside the while loop, if whatever number of statements you have to write, they come indented. So that, let's say there's line number 1, line number 2. You all know there is no semicolon after a line. So line 1, line 2, line 3, so on. As many lines as you have to write for your program. And when you are done with your while loop, the next line where you write is in the same syntax. Say line X. So remember, all the lines that are part of the while loop will be indented like this inside the while loop. The moment you write a line that is not indented inside will be out of the loop. Let's quickly write something and take a look. So what we have to do is we have to iterate from I, that is 1, till the number. Correct? So we have to start from 1, at 2, 3, 4 till we reach our number, that is 5. Correct? So simply say while I is less than, and not just less than equal to, because 5 also has to be included in the sum. Less than equal to num. So this becomes your condition. While keyword followed by the condition. Correct? Now inside this we'll write. Now you see in Jupyter Notebook it automatically gets indented with the tab space. Okay? Fairly simple. If you are not using an editor like Jupyter Notebook, make sure that whatever lines you are going to write inside the while loop have to be indented like this. Now all we have to do is sum equals to sum plus I, correct, and keep increasing I for every iteration. So I equals to I plus 1. As soon as this while loop is over, you can continue writing more lines as part of your program, but our part is done here with these two simple lines. What we have to do now is finally print the sum. So do a backspace, that is, now you have moved out of your while loop. Say print and simply say the sum is followed by the variable sum that will display you the sum. Okay, and shift enter. So you see till 5, if we have given the input as 5, our sum output is 5, and simple mathematics, we just checked till 5 the sum output was 15, correct. Let's take a look at, say, some other number. So execute this again, say 10, and run it again, initialize sum back to 0, 55. Cool. Now if you want to see in every iteration how sum is increasing, you can print sum inside the while loop. So now if you execute print sum inside the while loop, you will get at every iteration the value of sum. Alright, now moving on to another example. Let's say you have a number. All right, let me quickly go back to the chat, see if you have any questions so far. When we have to you, oh, your questions are already answered. So Krishna has asked, why converting using this int, can't we do something to take direct integer input? There is no way to take direct integer input, Krishna. Whenever you take an input through console, it always by default it comes as a string. So depending on your requirement, if you want a string, you can let it be like that. But if you don't want a string, if you want integer or something else, you need to convert it to that particular format. All right. What else? When we have to use while particularly compared with for. Okay, let me explain that, or at least try to explain that. See, when you use a while loop, all you are doing is giving a condition. Okay, and then the lines that you have to execute. Now whenever you have a situation like this, that you have to keep repeating this piece of code till this condition turns out to be true. Now what the code is simply doing is, it is checking whether the condition is true and then executing. The moment the condition becomes false, we don't execute the loop further. So this is on all the conditions where you can write your code in a form like this. Go ahead, use while loop. In for, let me give you the Java format of for, just to explain. So for, we give a variable, initializing variable. Even if not, we give a condition that run the for loop till this condition is met again, and give your, so this is in reference to the Java language, since I have not yet talked about Python, right? That is where you use for loop. Ideally there's not, I would say, much of a difference. I have noticed in the times I have written a code here and there. Simply how you use while or for depending on the requirements that you have. All right, what next? We were talking about, let me change the color, the next problem that we have at hand. So let's say we have a number, let's say 932, okay, and we need to find the sum of digits of this number, that is what we want to do is 9 plus 3 plus 2, okay, which would turn out to be 14. Now let's say you have to write a program like this where you want to find the sum of the digits of a number. So what is happening here? Let's see if something is repeating here, if it is relevant to while loops or not. What we are doing is, how we'll solve this problem? Take the units digit. Let's say we declare a variable sum that is initialized to 0. Take the units digit of the number, add it to the sum. Now the sum becomes 2. Once you have done that, divide the number by 10. So your number now becomes 93. Again, repeat the process. Take the unit digit number, add it to the sum. So your sum now becomes 5. Again, divide the number by 10. The number now becomes 9. Repeat. Take the units digit, add it to the number. Sum becomes 14. Divide the number again by 10. There is nothing left. Now, as soon as nothing is left, we exit the loop, and the final sum that we have, that is our result. So as you can see, there is a clear pattern here that in every iteration we are taking the unit digit, we are adding it to the sum, and we are dividing the number by 10. Remember, we have discussed that division in Python is double backslash, not single backslash. Okay, so we are dividing the number by 10. Again, in the next iteration, we are again taking the unit digit, adding it to the sum. So we are repeating 3 steps basically in the whole process. Number 1, taking the units digit of the number. Then number 2, add it to the sum. Number 3, divide the number by 10. These 3 steps you can see clearly are repeating in every iteration. Okay. Now, as you know, while loop, we need a condition. Correct? How many times I have to run this while loop? Well, clearly simple. Till you are left with nothing, you keep repeating. So let's say if the number was 4 digits long or 5 digits long, let's say 4, 5, 6, 7, 2. You'll keep repeating it. You'll take 2, divide, then you'll take 7 as the unit digit, then 6 will be the unit digit, then 5, then 4, and you'll keep repeating till you're left with nothing. So that this nothing becomes our condition for the while loop. And inside the while loop, simple, these 3 steps will be repeated. Okay. So let us move back to the code, see how it's written. Krishna says, I have learned C language and me keep getting confused while writing codes in Python. I just mix both concepts. Krishna, that could be a difficulty in the beginning, but I'm pretty sure if you practice it for a while longer, you'll have clear distinction in your head that C does things like this and Python does things like this. For example, we have seen how to take input. So we just say input. In C it is different, but in Python it is input. So the more you write code in Python, the more it will be easier for you to figure out these little differences, and at the end the logic of solving a problem is similar in any language. So the basic algorithm that we just saw for calculating the sum of digits of a number, this simple logic would remain same for both C and Python. All that is different is the syntax. The more you practice both the languages, the more easier it will be for you to distinguish in the syntax of both these languages. Alright, moving back to the code. So this time I have taken num, let me just say n this time. Let me take the input in n. Okay, enter the number. So execute it. Let's say our number is, let's give a bigger number, 4 5 6 7 8 9 2. Cool, this is our number. Let us quickly print and check. There's no need, it would have obviously saved it in, but still, just to show you. So this is our number, 4 5 6 7 8 9 2. Okay, now we have used sum, so I'm using the variable total, initializing it to 0, and again a simple while loop. While n is greater than 0, like while your number is still greater than 0, that was our condition, right? Let's take digits out of the number. So this is where I am taking the units digit from my number, that is n modulus 10. Correct? You divide the number by 10, you will get the remainder as 2. So digit will have the dig variable that I have created, will have the units digit in the first iteration, that is 2. Correct? Next thing you have to do is add it to your total. So total plus digit. Correct? That was our second step. And the final step, n is equals to n divided by 10. Divided our number by 10. Correct? And we'll keep repeating it till our number is greater than 0. Fairly simple. Once the loop completes, print the output. Let's say total sum of digits. Alright, fairly simple. We have clearly seen the algo. All you have to do while you're writing a program is to break down your program like this, that what exactly your program requires of you. You see an iteration, you write a loop. You see a condition somewhere, you write a conditional construct. Cool? So coming back, total to 0, divide by 10, take units digit, add it to total, divide the number by 10, and repeat till the number is greater than 0. Alright, shift enter. Cool. Let's take a simpler number, let's say 14. Check. Right? 5. Cool. So that is how you, number one, break down your problems using simple logical approach of what you are going to do, how you are going to do, what is going to be your condition. So we've clearly we figured out 3 things. What is our condition, what is our construct, the 3 things that we are going to do inside the loop, and that was it, right? The program practically wrote itself. You didn't have to do anything at all for this. Now I would want you to go back and try out more of such simple problems that you feel involve the use of a while loop, right? What else do we have? All right, Farhan asked a question which is already answered, so let me reiterate for the rest of you. When I use while and for loop for Fibonacci series, then which one is going to complete first? Which is faster and why is it so? To which Ashokan has replied, unlike C or Java, there is a clear difference between when to use for and when to use while, I think he meant. And generally worrying about such a small performance issue is not at all useful. Alright, so that's your answer, Farhan, right there. And since I have not discussed for loops yet, let's move on to the for loops in the next session, next Monday. Again, I'm repeating, I'll talk about for loops. I'll add conditional constructs along with for loops in the next session. And like Ashokan has already mentioned, don't worry about such trivial details of which one is going to be faster or how fast or how slow one is going to be from the other. like I said before, it's up to you whether you want to use while or you want to use for. Just go ahead, and the only thing that's important as of now is for you to practice as much as you can. So find out problems related to while loop, or see problems in your real life situation. So these two problems that I have taken up today are fairly simple. Repeat calculation, repeat addition of numbers till you reach the number entered by user, and repeat addition of numbers in the digit. Similarly, you can find out problems and practice more of such questions on while loop. The more you practice, the more it gets easier to comprehend the language, basically the syntax of the language. The logic remains the same for all languages. All right, on that note, I'll see you in the next session. We'll talk about for loops, and we'll talk about conditional constructs. And I also wanted to update you that at 7 o'clock today there is a session on AI/ML in action by Ashokan, which I want all of you to join. It will give you a very nice understanding of where all AI/ML is being used today. So which all industries, how we are benefiting from the use of artificial intelligence and machine learning in our lives at this point of time. It's going to be a very fun, interesting session to hear out too. It's simple. Get your coffees ready, sit down and watch the session with the Shokan today. All right, I'll see you next Monday with another topic on Python. Thank you so much for joining me today, guys, and happy coding. Bye bye.